Welcome everyone to another Pixelated review. I'm your host, Pixelated Jordan. So I'm going to talk about this little book here called Curse of the Spider King. So before we get into it, allow me to bring you to a story a long time ago of little Pixel Jordan. So when I was a kid, I never read that much, and my parents got mad at me for that stuff. They're like, you need to pick out a book and read it. I'm like, oh, okay then. So we went to Barnes & Noble, and I was checking out some books in their cover, judging books by cover, as you do as a kid. And I saw this, Curse of the Spider King. First off, knights. Giant knights, that's awesome. I love knights, they're so cool. Giant spiders, I hate spiders. They're terrifying and creepy, I don't like them. And I looked at it, I was like, wait, knights riding on top of giant spiders. This sounds awesome, and it's a Curse of the Spider King. What is this? I gotta check it out. So, the biggest thing about this too, when I was a kid, my parents told me, oh, you can't have any pictures, because I was reading a lot of Magic Treehouse at the time. If you know that, you're the OG. But so I decided to check out this book, and I remember getting to chapter 22 when I was a kid, and it completely stopped. So, you may be wondering yourself, well then, if you stopped the series, why would you go back to see it again? And to that I say curiosity. Purely that it. I still have the book, surprisingly enough. It's in poor condition, but I still have the book. So yeah, I might as well just check it out yet again. So that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, let's see what happens in this book. Was it as bad as I remember, as leaving it as a child, not wanting to read it again? Or is there something good? And I did not understand it at the time because I was a child back in the day. Alrighty then. Without further ado, let's start this review. Likes. So when it comes to likes, I like the Brimfall. That's the world that doesn't take place here, but it takes place here. I'll explain that later. But it takes place in Earth. They're coming after these 7 kids who are gonna undo the curse of the Spider King. I like Brimfall. I think it's actually really cool. I actually got immersed in all that stuff. The reason I got immersed, because in the beginning of the book, the main character, I would call him, he has a book. Oh no, he goes to the library, and the librarian gives him this book. And the book's actually, you touch it, and it becomes alive. So, kind of like Magic Treehouse. Huh. Never thought that made full circles. Weird. Anyway, the book continues on kind of like that, talking about the prophecy and some stuff like that, and we're exploring all the other kids. I love the book stuff. I think that was amazing. It was so cool, because they touch the book and everything comes alive. I think that sounds pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds epic. And then some of the characters, I kind of like the Tommy. I think I would generally liked him the most. Jet was a cool character. He's a little broken though, so that's a thing. But yeah, that's where we get into this territory that I don't have much to really say other than I love Brimfall. When the action was there, it was cool, but there is some things I sadly have to say. Dislikes. Sadly, I understand why I did not finish the book when I was a kid. It is because it is boring. Oh my god, it is so boring in this book. So, and you can argue, oh yeah, but that's because you're an adult and you're now reading a children's book. I'm like, no, actually, because I was in middle school, the target demographic, I don't know how to English today, sorry. And I did not like it because a lot of the plot was just middle school stuff, kind of school stuff. Now, granted, there are points where they're trying to show the power, but a lot of stuff can go just from school, everyday work, and it's kind of oh, well, I don't want to do that. I already am in middle school. Why do I want to experience middle school? It's like the difference between the new Powerpuff Girls versus the old Powerpuff Girls. You want to see the epic and showdown and all that good stuff in the old one, and then the new one just was about school. No epic battles and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of the same thing that comes here. When the battles are there, they're awesome, but for the majority of it, it was boring. And there's so many characters. They talk about 7 kids that they are gonna need to attack, and yeah, that was a thing. 7 characters, 7 children. So, and they're 13. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, that was a boring most of the time. So I understand why I stopped reading at 22. But I finished it though, I promise. I did finish it, and it does end on like, okay, now we're actually in Brimfall and we're gonna fight back. So at least it does end somewhere good, but yeah, sadly this overall book was boring and too many characters to follow. Made it just kind of like, where are we going? I don't understand most of this. So yeah, that was kind of a boring book overall, sadly. Overall, the book overall just is boring, and that sucks because when the Brimfall stuff happens, it is awesome. And the worst part is Brimfall reminds me of 11 Thumbs. You guys remember that review? Well, if you don't, rundown is basically this. First book, boring, and when we got to the end, we finally get to the place we want to be at, the most actiony part, the most epic part that we wanted. Same thing here. So the Brimfall is the thing we want to save, but we don't get to it till the very end. And that sucks. Because I wish I could enjoy it, but I couldn't. Because I was so bored for most of the book, and it just didn't go anywhere until we got to the end, and it finally went somewhere, and the kids got to use some of their powers in actual combat, which was actually a lot of fun. Like I said, Jet was like the ridiculous overpowered guy. He could regenerate, and he's also like the powerhouse of the group. Literally the most broken character. Tommy, who I would argue who is technically main character, he's like a ranger. He's just really good at using bows at range. So yeah. And then we have the blue girl. I remember her specifically. I remember this lady because she is blue, like that's her skin color. She is blue because her veins are just so big, apparently. So yeah, that was the reason they said that she was blue. And I think it's real. I can't remember. I think I looked it up. I think it said it was real. I can't remember. Point is though, yes, that I remember those three characters in particular, and everyone else I kind of forgot about. And that's the worst part. I still forgot most of them. And the physical copy of this book has like a really cool little cast list. Like you see the entire cast, which is actually pretty cool. But that's about it. So it's like, oh, I already forgot most of these characters. Overall, yeah, like I said, the book is boring, which is sad because yeah, it was aimed for a middle school audience, and I was the middle school audience at the time, and I found it boring. And now as an adult, I go read it, I'm like, man, I found this boring. So yeah, no matter how I look at it, it never reaches that, Gregor the Overlander, like, epicness, or Fablehaven mystery and wonders. Like, those are the children books I recommend, like, right there, and a young adult, children book and all that stuff. That's the tier, maybe, like most people to go into. Have fun. You go have an adventure. That's the most important part. Have fun with the book. But this one just chose to bore me until we got to those, Brimfall parts. But that was it. So, yeah, that kind of sucks about it. So, I guess it's time for the rating of this book, don't you say? So, for Curse of the Spider King, I give it a rating of meh. Alright, thank you guys all for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you guys want to watch more of these reviews, I have plenty more of series and books reviews on these playlists here. So if you want any more, just click these books below. So yeah. Alright, well, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you all have a great day.